Welcome back to Bite Size Sports. Happy Thursday night, everybody. James, Kev, and Nate here for you on another episode of Super Size Sports. Thank you, Nate, for joining us. We will start things off with you. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. In the process of moving. I've got most of my stuff moved to my new location, so things are going well there. And went to the doctor today and had good blood pressure, and my weight wasn't as bad as I thought. So today's been pretty solid.
Let's go.
Wins all around, Nate.
Loving that, Nate. And how about you, James? Happy Friday Eve. How are we?
Not too bad, Kev. Not too bad. Like I said, Friday Eve. We're getting there. We're close, my friend. We are close.
I had that unfortunate about 2 hours of this morning where I thought it was Friday till I logged in for work, and then looked at the date.
It was not Friday.
Although I was like, I didn't forget to set my lineup for Thursday night football. So not much of a marquee matchup, in my humble opinion. We have the Jets taking on the ghost of the New England Patriots here on a Thursday night. I only have one player that I'm keeping an eye on fantasy-wise, but Nate, what about you? You got anybody in the game tonight?
I looked at it earlier and I made some adjustments. I don't only know this other league. I don't think one team I definitely do, because I had Ramondre Stevenson, which he is not doing super hot right now.
Sports and Money came in as if on cue. Jets defensive line is dominating this game. Shout out to him and your GOAT. What up? Sorry, Nate, continue.
That I think that's really about it. I don't really have any other Jet players or anything like that. I will say this league that I've got Ramondre Stevenson in, not to hijack this introduction here, but this league for the past 4 years, this league has been going on for 12 years, 13 years at this point. But they started for the last couple of years. The champion gets to pick a rule to implement throughout for the next year. So there's been shit like your basic they changed it from waivers to fab. So you get a free.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. Somebody changed it where there are no free agent pickups. It's all fab waiver. So if you run out of money, you're done for the year, which is a little tough, but it's still kind of normal. And then you got stuff like the first rule that got put in place and got kept was every missed extra point, you get 5 points if your kicker misses an extra point. And then the current one, which is really annoying, is the person who scores the most each week gets to pick a player off of somebody's team for that player to be dropped.
This league is vicious. I have one for you, Nate, that I'm stealing from Twitter.
Yeah.
The next time you win, quarterback tackles are worth 100 points. So if your quarterback throws a pick or makes a tackle on a fumble, it's like a guaranteed win. So you're starting Sam Darnold every week. You don't have to just be Johnny or Josh to do that. Anybody can do it. And by week 8, you're rolling in it, baby. Josh Darnold, MVP for your fantasy team. Quick interjection for those at home or those listening to the audio. Nate is saying FAB, F-A-B, and that is a free agent budget, much like an auction draft where you get, let's say, $100 to spend, and the free agent would go to the highest bidder. So that is FAB with a B, no P sounds. Just wanted to be very clear about that. Yeah. Thank you, YouTube. Do not demonetize. James, what about you? Do you have anybody that you're watching all here on Thursday night?
I thought about starting Garrett Wilson in a DraftKings league, but nope. Didn't touch anybody. But I thought the Jets were going to do what they're doing. I think the Patriots are their preseason pick to be terrible. They're not good. The Jets are going to slowly figure it out.
I agree.
Get back in there, Nate.
I was going to say, yeah, I agree with him there. I just also wanted to briefly add the player last week got dropped was Saquon Barkley. And the guy, I had to face him without McCaffrey, and I beat him. So the person that scored the highest made that dude drop Barkley, and I got Barkley this week. So I may only get him for 1 week, and Barkley may get passed around by like a cheap person. But,
I would quit that league. I mean, props to you for having the stomach for that league. I don't know, Chad.
I hate it, but this has been a long-running league at this point. Excuse you, James.
Bless you, James. Yeah.
Thank you.
He's allergic to the idea. James is like, I'm out, boys. I'm so out.
So,
cursed idea.
But I will add, sorry to jack this all, I will add you only get to be picked once to have a player dropped. So for me, if I end up losing Barkley this week, I got him for 1 week, and I'm no worse for wear.
It's like a Survivor League, but not quite as fun. Those ones are really fun to me, where the lowest scoring team each week is eliminated, and then you have a free agent budget each week to sign those players, and then you get to the playoffs, and it's just like, I love those eliminator leagues. Those are fun. But that one's a little too wild for me. While we're still talking about fantasy football, and I will go ahead and bring the banner down, do we have any updates? Do either of you guys have the Thursday night game pulled up? I can get it pulled up on my end.
14-3. The Patriots just kicked a field goal. 3:56 left in the first half.
And Breece Hall, 25 yards rushing and a touchdown. He also has 3 receptions for 23 yards, so he's got a nice start going. Al Lazard's got 3 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown. And really, at this point, those are the only Jets-worthy fantasy players right now.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're
fantasy ones that are any good.
Yeah, I was like what James just said. They're the only ones to watch from what we hear. And I'm assuming, Goat, based on your comment here, that Alan Lazard is on your bench right now, which, for what it's worth, was probably the right call, right? I'm not Trevor or Josh. That's their job on Wednesday nights to maybe check in with them. But that sounds reasonable to me. I think, especially in the first few weeks, try not to be result driven. You made the right call. I don't know. Depends on who's on your in your starting lineup right now. But I feel like you're okay by not starting Alan Lazard. I don't think he did anything wrong. But we will continue to check in on Thursday night football. Not our best game to be checking in on, but that's okay, because in the world of baseball, we were helped out immensely. I had to double check the notifications on my phone a couple times before we made this stream, because as James and I were talking about pre-show, wait, what the hell already? I thought
he was short. He was short.
A big old day. James, what were those stats? Do you still have them that Shohei put up today in his record setting?
3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and 10 RBIs. That's insanity.
God. And he ends up hitting that 50
first playoff,
homer.
Yeah. 3 homers, 6 hit, 10 RBIs. They won like 20-4. 10 RBIs, the Dodgers record. First player with 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases since at least the 1900s.
He probably just won you your fantasy league, too, if you're in the championship.
Second player since at least 1901 with 6 hits in a game, 5 for extra bases. They clinched the playoffs. They just an insane deal today.
An incredible performance, and we are lucky to have Nate here with us, who will talk to us not only about Shohei, but we'll get into the MLB playoff picture here. So, Nate, What are your thoughts on, I guess we'll just start with Shohei. I mean, this is pretty incredible, right? I haven't seen anything quite like it, but you watch a lot more baseball than I have in recent years. How important is this, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, nobody has ever done the 50-50 before. So we're in completely uncharted territory, but let's be real. We're all thinking it. If somebody was going to do it, it was going to be Shohei. To be honest with you, I think Acuna got kind of close last year. I don't remember how he hit 40-something home runs last year, but he also had 70 stolen bases.
Yep, I was gonna say, yeah, he was the scales weren't quite as bad, but 70 steals is damn impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it's just unprecedented. And to be honest with you, if Ohtani at this point is not the unanimous, hey, you know what? The Tigers are tied for the last wild card spot, but
they're hot right now.
They are. Oh, if Ohtani is not the unanimous NL MVP, some people deserve to lose their votes.
Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, yeah. What would be the debate? It's something that's never been done in the history of the sport. What else would you do? John also confirming the Tigers have been on quite a run. I don't know about that. He said, sorry, guys, long day.
Well, John, you're about to have a longer day on Sunday, too.
Ooh, oh, he's getting the trash talk in. Now, we will be getting back into the NFL in a lot of different ways. Nate will be talking trash to more than just John before this show is over. And James and I will have to dive into things on the AFC side. But before we get back to the gridiron, Nate, while we have you here, you mentioned the Tigers are closing in on a wild card spot. Our Chicago Cubs have let one fall through their fingertips. That's why I had to wear this hat to remind myself of better times. Who do you see getting into those last wild card spots? And overall, do you have a favorite, NL or AL team to win it all?
Yeah, I will start here with I'm going to pick some division winners here because there's some, honestly, none of the divisional races are that close at this point, this late in the year. But you're really looking at like the Phillies winning NL East. I mean, the Brewers just clinched the NL Central last night thanks to the Cubs and Cardinals both sucking pretty much for this last half here. Dodgers have a 4-game lead, and there's still 9 games left, but a 4-game lead. I feel pretty confident with that. Houston 4.5 over the Mariners. Mariners kind of been a disappointment this year, but we'll see. I think Houston holds on there. Guardians 6.5 over the Royals. I feel pretty confident of that. Guardians, to me, have been the most impressive team this year. I'm also a little biased because they got Emmanuel Clase on my fantasy team, and he's the Guardians closer who's been absolutely dominant this year. And then, the Yankees are up by 4 over the Orioles, but the Orioles have looked absolutely horrible in the last 10 to 15 games. So in terms of the divisions, that's what I would go with. Wild card, I still see the Orioles and the Royals holding on, although the Royals are on a 4-game losing streak right now. Twins and Tigers are tied for that last spot. I think the Twins would win it on some sort of a tiebreaker. Although I feel like I'm not sure if they're going to do a game 163. I honestly forget. So sorry.
I would love that. That's one of the things that I love and hate about baseball. You can play 162 games, and then you still
not enough.
Tied, and you have to play a division to a team you've already played 27 times. You have to play them one more time to get in. I think that happened. Hasn't that happened to the Cubs before? They had to play the Pirates to get in.
They played the Pirates in the wild card game, so they were.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
That was the year the Cardinals won 100 games. The Pirates won 98 games, and the Cubs won 97 games. So it was a pretty wild year there. But If I had to pick just off the cuff, like I said, I would go Orioles, Royals, and then as of now, the Tigers, because they're still riding pretty hot right now. I mean, the Mariners are not too far behind. And then I'd go Diamondbacks, Mets, Padres for that, just because the Braves have started to fall off. And if you look at the last 10 games for all these teams, Padres are 6-4, Mets are 6-4, Diamondbacks are 5-5, Braves are 5-5, Cardinals are 5-5, Cubs are 5-5. So nobody's really made up ground on anybody.
5-5. That's the Cubs season right there. Just, yep, 500. But hey, at least we got rid of my favorite prospect, and that's good. And he went and hit like multiple dingers in Tampa as soon as he got there. That's okay. That's all right, Chris. I miss you. It's all right. It was well worth it, right, to go shopping so we could fall short of the wild card spot. Nate, I'm not bitter about it. I'm not upset. This is why I became a part-time baseball fan after 2016, because I just knew that there was no new era coming for Chicago, that the Cubs, they were good, and they were going to stay good as long as they had that prime core players. I don't know what the hell happened to Javi Baez. Is that why the Tigers are good again? Did he figure out how to –
No, he's not figured out anything.
He looks like me drunk playing the show at 2 a.m., just swinging at every pitch. Yeah, like, it's on rookie. God damn it. Why is this so hard? God damn it.
But
I'm not paying millions to do that.
I understand that about Morel, but his batting average, as bad as it was, and his OPS, it's dropped since he's been in Tampa. Isaac Paredes hasn't hit as well as he should, but I'm okay with that trade moving forward because that kind of shores up the defensive side, down the third baseline there. So not too upset about it. And also Morel, aside from the flashy start, really has not been very good in Tampa.
All right. Well, if you like it, I'll live with it. But Nate, any other baseball takes before we pivot back to another sport, one that we usually talk about a lot on Thursdays?
Yeah. So we're about to see, hopefully, fingers crossed, about to see some historical ineptitude here shortly. White Sox are sitting at 36 and 117. They've got, just doing the quick math here, they've got 9 games left. For them to not break any sort of modern records at all, they need to win at least 5 or 6 games of those last 9. The Mets have the modern era record for the worst record at 40 and 120 because 2 of their games got canceled for some reason. I don't know. The White Sox are 4-6 in their last 10, and they did have a 3-game winning streak.
Wow.
I don't know that they have it in them to win more than a couple more games.
If they do, that's going to be, I don't know what number we're at, Major League 5, Major League 6. Like, whenever they decide to revive and reboot that dead franchise like they've done every other movie, they can they'll keep it in division, and it can be about the hapless White Sox and their need to win 6 out of their last 10 in order to avoid being the worst team in baseball history. So you know what? I've never been more thankful to have been chosen to be a Cubs fan at birth. At least it wasn't the White Sox. It could have easily been the White Sox. Oh.
And another thing with that too, so the all-time in modern, at least since 1901, the all-time worst winning percentage in MLB history belongs to the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics at 36 and 117. So where the White Sox are right now. I'd have to do some math offhand. I right now I couldn't tell you what the record would need to be for the White Sox to avoid that winning percentage. But this is just historical ineptitude, and they're going to cut payroll next year.
Are they trying to get forced out? They want to go to Vegas or something. What's going on? Oh wait, too late.
Well, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't see the Vegas thing happening for the Athletics. But I think, some rumors, unfounded. Let me say, unfounded rumors. I think have been maybe the White Sox connected to Nashville, possibly.
Hey, there you go, James.
Whoa. Are they gonna let the Chi Sox leave? That'd be kind of crazy.
Because
Chicago people.
This is this is why they're cutting the payroll. They're going to win 12 games next year. The stadium already sucks. It's no Wrigley Field, let me tell you. Wow.
So I think that would be a poor move, but also the White Sox, I'm not I'm not going to get into any nice
What's up, Ken?
Any political stuff, but I just don't see the White Sox getting public money for new stadium renovations or anything like that. So it'd be real interesting to see moving forward. Also the Bears, that's another thing with the Bears, but that's, for another time. But yeah, so I think the playoffs will be interesting because there is no real super dominant team this year. I mean, nobody's going to win 100 games. They're all, the top teams are all going to be in that 92 to 98 range. So there's no real stout team. I will go ahead and say it is going to be a Padres Guardians World Series with the Guardians winning.
Let's go. I will take it because then I can finally wear this hat in public in the state of Ohio because I cannot currently get away with that. That's the quickest way to get punched is to wear any of your Colts merch around. People are not over it in the state of Ohio. Don't let them kid you. Reds fans, I think, are just numb to the pain, but Guardians fans very, very much like Anakin yelling up to Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
that's the same vibe.
I work with a guy who's a big Browns and Guardians fan at Traders, and he talks shit about it all the time. I do feel bad for him because his fandom is pretty bad.
Oh, you're cursed. That's why I'm rooting for you. I hope you're right. I would love to see the Guardians win a World Series. My team's out of it. Nothing would make me happier. That's probably going to be who I'm rooting for when it's all locked in. Is that any what about you, Nate? Do you have anybody you would want to see win? Do you participate in that at all? As a Cubs fan, you like me have seen many an MLB playoff with no one to root for. So how do you cope?
Yeah, I mean, team-wise, as my pick is, I would like to see Guardians or Padres. Just individual players, as much as I don't want the Dodgers to win, it's hard not to root for Ohtani, even if the gambling stuff is kind of questionable. For me, the story doesn't really add up, but, whatever. I would be fine with Aaron Judge too. Not so much the Yankees, but just Aaron Judge and Juan Soto as players getting a ring. Just no Brewers. Absolutely no Brewers. The state of Wisconsin is good for cheese, sausage, and beer, and the rest of and I guess Door County or whatever lake area people go to up there. Oh, I guess I should also add Road America. But aside from that,
he's got a list.
Aside from that, Wisconsin can go to hell.
Except for these 5 things that I love. You guys suck. No, I love that. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate the deep dive into the diamond. James, we'll pivot back to you, sir. To our stomping grounds, the hardwood. So the quick and short story, I think, is the big news that the Oklahoma City Thunder have agreed to give Seattle their history back should the NBA expand by moving a team back into Seattle. Now, I think the other one we've heard a lot about is Vegas. So do you have any thoughts on this? Do you think Seattle's going to be one of those expansion teams? Do you care about this? What are your thoughts?
I think Seattle and Vegas are your top two choices for expansion if they do it. Good for them, I guess. It doesn't affect me either or way. But I think if they're saying it, it probably means Seattle is on the list and very high on said list.
I'm with you there. It feels like it's something.
It's a weird thing to come out and announce. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. So, Nate, what about you? Do you have any thoughts on Seattle? I tend to agree with James. Are there any other cities outside of Vegas and Seattle with, of course, a realignment, which would be necessary if they go that route?
First of all, Oklahoma should never have had a team. Let's just get that there.
I know Oklahoma.
I know nobody asked, but I'm
with John on this one.
Call me crazy, but Louisville. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the Yum Center, and it would be difficult to work that around with the Cardinals. But that area could do well. You could bring back the Kentucky Colonels. That's right. A pretty dope team name.
Bring back the ABA team. I mean, shit, that Yum Center is there, right, for the University of Louisville, right? Like they get that many people in for a college team. But when they're good, they do. Yeah. Like when they have a top 25 team, they fill that place or get close to it. So you would think if they had an NBA team that was reasonably good. That's all I'm saying. It's very much like Indiana. Yeah. Where if the team's even sniffing the playoffs, it's going to be a packed house most nights, because the tickets will probably also be cheaper considering the area.
Maybe St. Louis would be a solid spot.
Boo.
Okay, St. Louis, maybe. Also a dope team name you could bring back.
I can't remember the
St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have like a bar and lounge in there. Put a martini glass for the jersey. I like that. I'm all about that.
I off the cuff, I don't know of anywhere else that would make sense. I mean, it's weird that I guess it's similar to Ohio, but it's kind of weird that the basketball team is not in Nashville and it's in Memphis. Just like how for hockey, the hockey team's not in, even though Columbus is the biggest city, the hockey team is not in Cincinnati or Cleveland. But I don't think they're going to stick two teams in Tennessee for basketball.
Yeah, I agree with you, at least not right away. That would have to be an extended expansion, which I guess is a redundant thing to say. But beyond what I don't think they're looking to add more than two teams right now. And I think it would be some time before it would be worthwhile adding more than two teams. So, I in my heart, I want to go. I mean, John's throwing out a lot of good ones here. Vancouver, Kansas City, Baltimore. Those are all pretty good options that you hear. And, I hear Pittsburgh occasionally. Selfishly, I love the Vancouver one. I like it better. If you're going to have a Canadian team, I like it better when there are two, just because at least then there's some kind of rivalry. It's across the conference and everything, but you have a little bit more of a built-in thing. There's not just a one team representing a whole country. So I would love Vancouver to have a team again, but because I don't love Vegas as much. I think Vegas is very quickly going to become oversaturated with sports teams, and it's not going to be a big deal. Like they're not going to, I don't know. Hockey, I think, is a different beast. What do you think, Nate? Because you root for a Vegas team. Do you think it could sustain these expansions?
I think they're overdoing it now. I mean, I know everybody wants a piece of the market, but an expansion, I think it would, in order of fandom for me, and just from what I've seen, it would go obviously the Golden Knights. I think the expansion basketball team would immediately shoot to number 2 because that is, they're not getting somebody's second helpings there.
Yeah, or revamp of an
yeah.
old,
They are getting their own team. That's why like hockey is so big in Las Vegas. That's an expansion franchise. Now, also back in the 90s and stuff, they had like a minor league hockey team that did pretty well as well. But I think 4 sports teams in Vegas for the major 4 sports, stick and ball sports, is probably overkill. Yeah. I would not like for a basketball team to go there. I mean, Aces do get for the WNBA do get a lot of support. They're also really good right now, and I believe the 2-time defending WNBA champions as well.
Always helps to get a good crowd there. So
yeah. I last thoughts on that. I think they're way overdoing it, because not only that, but they got 2 NASCAR weekends and the Formula One race, which is kind of a shit show in its own regard. It just feels like everybody's trying to bleed the newest thing as quick as they can.
I mean, that tracks, right? Some things don't change very much. But for my final thoughts on this NBA expansion, I am a huge nerd for the Seattle Supersonics. They were a franchise that I loved growing up. I would be very excited to see them come back. And honestly, if I get Seattle, I don't care where they put the other team. It sounds like the most reasonable option is going to be bring in Seattle, start a new place in Vegas, and then we move Memphis into the Eastern Conference, which they're probably closer to a majority of those teams anyway. I think you could maybe think about Minnesota as well. They're close to those Central Division teams. So, but to me, it just seems like it's Memphis. Like Memphis is the one that was in Vancouver and then got stuck in a conference they didn't belong in after they moved across the continent. So to me, it's a natural one to just put them where they belong geographically.
You say that, and I will just have to disagree with you.
That's why he's here, folks.
Culturally, Minnesota makes more sense. They would fit right in with the Bucks and the Pacers. And, well, I don't know if they would end up in the same division as the Pacers if they split it. But Chicago and Milwaukee, it all makes sense. Culturally makes sense. Honestly, it makes more sense for the Grizzlies to be in the Southwest Division than the Timberwolves to be in a division with, the Thunder and Portland and Utah.
I don't know, man. I want that Memphis-Atlanta rivalry. I feel like that's a pretty close area. Who else would be in there?
I mean,
Miami, Memphis, Miami. You don't think that?
I mean,
the two grind cultures of the NBA that doesn't belong together.
But culturally, again, it would even make more sense for the Pelicans to move over the Grizzlies. Because if you stick them with,
I always forget about those bastards. Yeah, you're right. Damn.
I mean, I hate unless they add like 4 more teams. The Grizzlies should be stuck in the Southwest Division.
Fair enough. I like this, though. When the expansion becomes official, Nate, we're going to bring you back for a special NBA-only episode. And just because I could have fun. We could probably fill the rest of the show just talking about this, but I don't want to do that to everybody. This is a fun conversation, though. And before we leave the hardwood, guys, we got one last Woj bomb. As surprisingly enough, I don't believe Adrian Wojnarowski was the first to report this. He's retiring. Somehow he got scooped on that one. You wouldn't believe it. So clearly he's lost a step. So he's retiring from covering the NBA every waking hour of the day. I saw a tweet that said Woj got a text at 3:30 a.m. alerting him of Isaac Okuru's extension and decided, I've had enough of this shit. And that was the last one. He's going to go be a GM at St. Bonnie's. James, I want to punt this one to you first, sir. You are our resident college basketball expert. Do you think Adrian Wojnarowski, former alum with all of his access as a journalist, like, do you think he'll plug in okay to run a college basketball program?
I mean, he's not running the program. He's running NIL and helping with recruiting and stuff like that.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, that's why
he's not a head coach. He'll be fine. It's pretty wild to think that he's going to, like, that's how crazy his lifestyle is, that he'll go to college basketball and consider it a downgrade. Just insane.
Yeah, light
but
schedule.
I guess when you're trying to breaking
right?
everything, like, that's light schedule. That's wild. I think it's an interesting move. Good for him. He's getting out. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. Like,
yeah, why couldn't like Adam Scheffler instead, like, screw off to some unknown corner of the world instead of a Woj? At least Woj has self-respect.
Now he's going to get replaced with Shams, who at multiple times has been accused of doing shady things for FanDuel. And skewing odds on things. He's the last person I want in that role, and he's one of the likely ones to get it. He's the guy I feel like in Walk Hard when he's like, wrong kid, Dad. And it's like, God, no, it should have been Shams, not Woj. Oh, it's going to get even more cutthroat and disgusting. You know, the king is dead. It's going to be a Game of Thrones out here with the fake bullshit rumors and stuff until a new Woj is crowned. It's going to get really messy on Twitter. I'll miss him. I
think Shams' contract's up this year, too, is what I saw. Good for Woj getting out. If you guys saw Schefter's thing, it was wild and quite talking about going to the shower with your phone and this and that and the other, and the comments were great on it. Like, oh, woe is me, you have to work. It was hilarious. But good for him. Shout out him. Shout out Woj. He ruined a few drafts. But go enjoy yourself. I hope you enjoy college basketball. I didn't. I wouldn't want what he's doing. I wouldn't want to do. I wouldn't want to touch it.
It sounds like he's doing all the parts you wouldn't want to do, or at least me as well, that I wouldn't want to do.
Isn't that what you kind of did before? Or am I thinking incorrectly?
No, a little more operations. NIL was still brewing while I was getting out. So he's like in charge of all the NIL stuff, which I think he'll be good at. His name's pretty big. I think he'll have that'll help there. But,
and he'll know. I can't imagine the number of people that he knows. You know, that would probably help, right? He's probably got a big old Rolodex to sort through.
Exactly. Yes.
It's gonna be great for him to only have 2 phones. You know, I can't imagine a guy like that probably had 3 or 4 of them. I do remember those guys like sharing their screen time from like their Apple reports during the draft. It's like 23 hours of screen time. Like, you're not only up all day, but literally looking at your phone for all but 30 minutes of today. I could not imagine that lifestyle.
No.
Just, you know, do what you love, and you're working every second of your life. Just so we all know. So before we dive into Nate's Bears and our rivalry that we've got coming up, any updates, fellas, on the Thursday night game? I can assume it's going one way, but
Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Nate. I was just agreeing with him. Yep.
Yeah, still 14-3. No real changes. You've got Jacoby Brissett 7 for 10 for 36 yards.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen that.
No,
I've seen that one.
Jets did miss a field goal right before half, but yeah, it's going one way.
I gotta love that. Hey, I don't mind a boring Thursday night game. Gives people more reason to come hang out with us. And while we're talking about that, thank you for everybody who is watching, the concurrent viewers on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. We appreciate you. Leave us a like if you could. If you're a frequent viewer, we'd appreciate a sub on our March to 1,000. We greatly appreciate everyone who's subscribed so far. And make sure you're notified, because we stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. So Sunday, we got some rivalry action, not in your typical sense. I have had this as a personal rivalry in my home since damn near birth. But it's Colts versus Bears, a replay of Rex Grossman and the boys, Devin Hester, Brian Urlacher taking on Peyton Manning, a tale as old as time. None of these players will be on the field on Sunday. And one win so far amongst the two teams. I will, you know what? Actually, before Nate and I get into it, James, if you had to put money on this game, Bears Colts, somebody gave you money and said all you can do is bet on this game. Where are you putting your money, sir?
The Bears defense.
Ooh,
that's where I'm putting my money.
That's smart money.
Bears offense sucks. The Colts suck. So I'm going with the Bears defense. The one part that I know is good.
I don't know, man. The way the Colts defense looks at the beginning of this year so far, I really think you're going to look at the Bears offense this weekend look like the 2007 New England Patriots offense.
That's the unfortunate thing. You don't see that. You're the rebound, Nate. Like, this is the offense that the defense gets back. Like, now you're in that poor, unfortunate situation. You guys are Purdue this week. And after Indy, much like my beloved Fighting Irish, got embarrassed by what is essentially a MAC-level quarterback in Green Bay, they're going to be really pissed off. There's still some really good pros on that defense. Zaire Franklin, I think, unfortunately, D-Buck is out. Lato also probably out. So, yeah, no, it's going to be rough for the Colts. They were already not great, and now they're as injured as can be. But luckily, I've seen some footage of that Bears offensive line, and this might be one of maybe two offensive lines in the league that this Colts defense might be able to keep a hang of. But, yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs was averaging about 4 yards before anyone touched him last week. So it's very hard for me to come up here and say anything other than I'm banking on the Bears offense just being worse than the Colts offense, and that AR will uncork one or two deep passes, and that this is essentially going to be a game. If I were betting money on this, guys, I don't know. I would probably bet on the Bears, and then that way, no matter what, I win. Because this game could come down to field goals, and the Colts kicker is also hurt. And the Bears right now, all things being even, have the better kicker. I would say maybe when Matt Gay's healthy, it might be more even. But you guys have a healthy kicker, and the Colts don't. And I know he's been back and forth. Okay, Nate, what are your thoughts? I'll let you give me your thoughts on the game and in general.
Well, I would take Cairo Santos. Yes, I'm biased, but I also take Cairo Santos over Matt Gay. Santos is pretty, Santos is pretty automatic for the most part under 50 yards.
Did he cost you $44 million, though?
I forget what his contract is.
Yeah, probably wasn't that much, so that's another reason I'd take him, too. Anyway, you were saying?
So, yeah, I mean, that offensive line is scary, to say the least. There's a lot of dysfunctional pieces on there, and for the life of me, I don't understand why they're not going to just stick Tevin Jenkins right next to Darnell Wright and shore up that side. You're already fucked on the left side. Just get one strong side, and then maybe keep Cole Kmet or, never send the running back out for pass coverage and figure it out there. Because it's not like the whatever corpse the Bears run out at center is not going to look like they did week 1 against Jeffrey Simmons and Ernest Jones. So, I mean, yeah, maybe I'm going to put my foot in my mouth come Monday morning here, but I feel pretty good about this week. And I will say, what about a shoey?
Oh, yeah. No. Let me bet a shoey when I have 3 defensive starters. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I'm not going to commit to it on camera yet. That'll be a pleasant surprise for the viewers on whether or not we are betting a shoey on that. I'll have to think about it. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game. That is for sure. The one thing I would say, I still don't know how many young quarterbacks the Bears are going to have to go through before they figure out that you can rotate these new guys in and out as much as you want. If you don't get a good offensive line and don't get good coaching, it doesn't matter. It just, I really hope for your sake, Nate, and just for my family's sake as well. My dad and brother are Bears fans. Like, I would love for them to have something. I'd love for you guys to have something to celebrate. And I have been forced to watch horrible Bears quarterbacks for the last 35 years. You know, I want them to figure it out. But it seems like every single time it's just the same thing over and over again. No offensive line. They thought they solved the weapons part this time around. Again, I don't know why you're giving any real money to Keenan Allen when you know he's going to play 4 weeks. But on paper, it's a good Madden roster offensively.
I mean, you know, it's just for 1 year. I mean, I honestly don't really see them re-signing Keenan Allen. Come the fall. So, like, for a 4th-round pick, I mean, I'll take it. I mean, it sucks that he was out last week, but I'll take it for some weapons there.
You'll be saying that as more often than you'll be saying, man, Keenan Allen had a game last week. You'll be saying, yeah, I know he was out last week, but no, and, you know, we'll see. I think, see, you're the 1-1 team. The Colts are the 0-2 team. Law of averages. We're both going to be 1-2 walking out because neither of these teams are 500 teams this year, in my humble opinion. But Nate, I know we have hit. We were at about 45 minutes in, a little after. I wasn't sure how much longer we had you, so I figured now might be a good time to give you an opportunity. If you've got any other thoughts on the Bears or anything else you wanted to say to the folks at home.
Yeah, I'm still okay for now, but
okay.
I still am pretty positive on the Bears. I mean, Caleb Williams, even with the 2 interceptions last week, still looked really well, and he is getting the ball out pretty quick in the scenarios that he's in with that porous offensive line. So just, you know, I feel pretty confident about Sunday, but just for draft capital next year, make sure you spend it on offensive linemen, because look at what the heck Joe Alt is doing in San Diego, Los Angeles.
Always be San Diego, baby. Yeah, good point. Shout out to Joe Alt. Well, I mean, yeah, so feel free to hang around with us as long as you would like. If you need to dip out, feel free to do so, and we'll tell the folks where they can find you. Otherwise, flag me down, and we'll announce your exit. But James, I believe it's time for us to do a little touring around the AFC South. Again, shout out to Mike Patton, touring the AFC South podcast. We are around the AFC South in this segment. James, where would you like to start?
Let's see. We've already talked the Colts. The Jags are who we thought they were. They suck. And the Texans are 2-0.
But you didn't let them off the hook.
No, they did not get let off the hook. They just suck, period. Let's go with the Malik Willis revenge game, Green Bay at Tennessee. I don't believe any of the J Love hype that he's going to play. The Titans became the first team since, I think, the 2003 Chargers to have a punt, block, thrown interception, and a fumble lost in back-to-back games. So that's a great start for the boys. Good news is they had a chance to win both games. Their defense is the real deal. Don't create any turnovers, though. That's a problem. So we got Green Bay at Tennessee with Malik Willis, and if Tennessee doesn't win this game, it's going to be a fucking long season, folks.
So, James, just in case, maybe you can get a message to your coaches, because the Colts coaches apparently didn't know this. With Malik Willis, and the Packers are going to run the ball. They're going to run it a lot. You might want to put extra guys in the box. It's crazy. My God. It's like
Malik
watching
Willis
a
can't
team.
throw.
Yeah, it was like watching a team play against Navy.
Shout for finding a way to win. Shout out him finding a way to win, but not shout out to the Colts defense and Gus Bradley. Jesus.
Yeah, shout out to Gus Bradley for
surprised.
Yeah, well, it would be 3rd and 8, and the corners would give him a 10-yard cushion. It's like, dude, I know he's got a noodle arm, but you still have to defend people on 3rd and long.
Yeah, you can't just
give him the easy out route. He can make that throw. He can make the 10-yard out. Like just about anybody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, James? I might be really salty if Tennessee doesn't take care of business this weekend.
They need to. It needs to happen.
Shout out to our friend, Michael Allen there. Good dude, but I hope he's upset on Sunday with football.
I appreciate Michael.
The Titans don't win Sunday.
Talking to me all week.
Long fucking year for me.
Shout out to him though. He's doing pretty well with his high school coaching job. They seem to be doing okay.
He's a great fit for it. It seems like too. So shout out. Hopefully we'll have Michael on a Tuesday night again, one of these nights on Necessary Roughness. We still need a Lions fan on staff so we can finally have our first completed division of rivals. But James, any worry? How I know obviously you mentioned the woes offensively. Levis had another pretty questionable decision with that fumble. I know the coach called him out for it. Are you worried about the decision like that 2 weeks in a row, or the coach's decision to call him out the way you did, or are you?
No,
cool with
I am so over people being pissed about Brian Callahan losing his fucking mind.
I'm with you.
The dude
on that.
made a boneheaded fucking play 2 weeks in a row. Like he gave the Bears the game the week before, and then he takes 3 points off the board. Like, don't fucking be stupid. You don't need the hero ball plays. Am I out on Levis? Absolutely not. But stop doing the dumb shit.
Yeah,
it didn't cost them this week. They punted it right away, but the Bears game it did. It took 3 points off the board, so they'd have been up 10-0, I think. Like, don't stop fucking doing dumb shit. I'm not out on it. I'm just pissed. I'm exactly like Brian Callahan. And if you grow up, America, grow up, world. Like, you got yelled at so fucking beat. He's getting paid millions. Stop being stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like you think his high school and college coaches never yelled at him before.
Yeah, like people are like, "Come on, fucking NFL, shut up."
You can usually tell.
Fucking lined him up last year.
Oh yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you can usually tell based on people's rhetoric whether or not they actually played the sport that they have an opinion on.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody who's been in a locker room has a problem with that.
No,
because if it wasn't coach, it was going to be somebody, especially when there's 53 of you.
Yep.
So somebody was going to say it, especially when you made the exact same mistake last week. Because that's the whole
thing. It might
have
been worse from his teammates.
Yeah, nobody cares, especially from a young quarterback. I wouldn't say nobody cares, but people understand the mistakes are expected. Like same thing with AR.
Those boneheaded
you expect
ones.
the boneheads, but not the same type of play 2 weeks in a row. You gotta learn.
Like you're gonna expect some bad interceptions, some shit like that. Not these type of boneheaded plays. Like just knock it off.
Quit watching.
Because then he does shit like he hit Ridley on a couple plays, fucking throws that were sick. He can hit windows that nobody else in this league can hit because he's got such a rocking arm.
That Ridley, that looked like it was picked. Like that was.
I thought the Ridley touchdown pass was picked. I really did.
There was I'm still.
I have no idea how Ridley
got through. But yeah, so we'll see. The Jags. We don't expect any recovery from them, right? No big breaks coming.
They're at Buffalo Monday. Like I think that sinking ship's just going to keep sinking. Trevor Lawrence looks no good.
Nate is in agreement there, which leads us to the Texans this week
at Minnesota.
That's right. Johnny's still here.
Yeah, well, Johnny can be all sad and stuff because that's going to be a 21-point Houston win.
Texans are good. Minnesota's looked good, though. Shouts to Sam Darnold. He's looked good.
Daniil Hunter revenge game, though. He won't be looking too great, which, you see a little bit of that old Sam Darnold crept in last week. He had a very bad interception, threw one right to Fred Warner. Remember what I said, guys?
Rated him into that so good. That was insane. That was an insane play.
Just call me week 5 if the wheels haven't fallen off yet, and I will eat my words.
Even with Sam Darnold, even a blind squirrel finds a nut twice.
That's what I'm saying. We've seen this in Carolina. Go back to his first 4 games in Carolina. He was like I think they were 3-1. The first 2 games, especially, he was putting up monster numbers. They were like, oh, he's finally figured it out. It's called Sam Darnold in a new system. It happens. The first couple, he will start seeing ghosts again. Mark my words. I would love for it not to be true for Johnny's sake. And honestly, I love Geno Smith. I love a good comeback story. I'll take it. But I would have to see it for more than 2 weeks to believe it. You have to see it for 7 to 8. If you clowns kept it to 1 score, it will be close. Ouch. I don't know which he could be dogging on me or you on that one, huh, Nate?
I feel like he's definitely dogging on me with that comment. But really, it makes more sense for the Colts.
Based on the defensive side of the ball, I would say probably. But offensively right now, I would take what the Colts are working with over the Bears' bargain bin shopping they did over the offseason. That's right.
That's okay. Right. I at least got, I at least got IU to keep doing well.
I'm so glad we don't have a college football show. I couldn't be on it for the next.
You couldn't. With me and Nate, we'd be our heads are so big right now.
Well, my team lost to Northern Illinois.
Yeah,
when your favorite team,
they're ranked. They're
probably. I wonder
honestly, they have a really good shot at making the playoff.
Who, the Northern Illinois?
Yes.
Oh,
they just went out.
Wild. That is wild. Well, that would make me feel good. But no, your favorite team loses to a MAC school, and it's not even the one you attended. Like, I'm getting burned on both sides of this. That stings so bad.
How did you feel, 2 years ago when Toledo went there and basically collapsed?
Oh, I mean, I was pretty numb to it. It was a very weird feeling because it's like, well, I mean, it's the old alma mater doing it, I guess. But I don't know. Notre Dame football for me is it's like a phantom pain. It's kind of like when something rubs along my scar here. It's like a bunch of dead skin tissue. I can kind of feel it, but I can't really feel it the same. That's Notre Dame football for me. The season's over. It's irrelevant by week 3 every year. They'll have some cupcakes on the schedule, but they'll have at least one good team. Or in this case, it'll be the week after. It's no longer Boston College that does this to Notre Dame. Now it could be anyone. Now it could be Northern Illinois. They win the big game they need to, and then they just completely shit the bed the next week. It doesn't matter. The season's always over before it's halfway done. And so I'm just kind of numb to it. I don't really care. I'm a casual when it comes to college. It helps that the changing in the rules. I'm all about the players getting their money, but the changing in the conferences and everything has really watered down for me, the sport in general. So it kind of helps. Not my team sucks too. So I'm like, I don't really have a reason to keep up with this anymore.
You don't like the classic ACC matchup in Stanford and Syracuse,
Stanford and SMU,
or Cal Florida State.
So weird.
Cal Florida State's a good one. Thursday night update. John says, "God damn, this game is so boring. It's giving me writer's block. It's so boring. It's making me bored of things that don't bore me." Oh man! And then what? Isn't Thursday night Al Michaels too? So you got Al Michaels.
Kirk. Kirk.
My God, dude! How are you guys? If anybody's watching that and awake, props to you, man. I'd be all tuckered out.
You know what though? I'll be. IU continue to do well, but I honestly am real tempted to go to some November Tuesday night MACtion. See some MAC schools on Tuesday night. There's a few options.
Hey, maybe they'll finally go check out a game on a Tuesday. While we're talking about alma maters, I know it wasn't necessarily on the run of show, but we've kind of run through that for the most part. I think we've hit all of it. James, your Cornhuskers continue to be a pretty popular topic of late. You got any update for the fans like me who are maybe a little more casual?
Big game tomorrow. Illinois comes to town. Both teams ranked. I think it's 22 versus 24. This is how bad the Huskers have been. It's the first ranked game in Memorial Stadium where both teams are ranked in 10 years. The university gave all teachers the options. All classes were turned virtual, and they don't have to have them tomorrow. So they're all going to be drunk. There's going to be tailgating all fucking day, and that game is going to be wild tomorrow night. Huskers are big favorites. They opened as like 9.5 point favorites. It's down to 7.5, but still huge favorites tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a buddy who's a big Illinois fan, so we'll see how tomorrow goes.
Big game tomorrow for the Skurs.
That might actually be one that I would watch. That's
8 p.m. Eastern. Big game. Go Big Red. That's all that matters. It's gonna be fun. Tomorrow's fun.
I mean, the only Go Big Red I say is for my high school alma mater, and they do play tomorrow. So yeah, Go Big Red.
There he is. Well, your team's a little more crimson, I think, Nate. But eventually, you two will be squaring off.
Well,
do you think, Nate? Will your Hoosiers? Will they be ranked? You guys got a real shot at knocking off Nebraska when you play in a month?
I mean, yeah, I think so, especially at home. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a blowout here. It's going to be a competitive game, but I'll take the Hoosiers on top there. I mean, yes, the opponents that IU has played have not been super impressive, but the wins have been pretty on point. I mean, they kick stomped the Leathernecks from Western Illinois, 77-3, who, mind you, haven't won a game in 2 years. But Northern Illinois only won 54-14. So by extension, IU is better than 2 top 25 teams.
There you go.
I'm just grasping for straws here.
I love that solve for X math we got. I love it. Hey, you might as well work for the NCAA and you might make the next power conference. Yeah, Leathernecks. I haven't. Nate dusting off a sentence we haven't heard since 1886. They beat the Leathernecks last week. That's wild.
But they looked pretty impressive, in the Rose Bowl last week against UCLA. But have another mediocre matchup with, the 49ers this week. So it really comes down to, then the schedule starts ramping up. Maryland should be a good game. Northwestern on the Lake. They play at Northwestern on the Lake this year. Then you got a bye week and then the big matchup against Nebraska. So that kind of lines up well there. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 10-2 Indiana this year.
Woo! At least there will be one 10-win team in Indiana this year. That's good. We got that going for us. Because there won't be one wearing gold helmets. I'll tell you that. Can't wait to watch them get spanked by USC. But anywho, that was our impromptu college football segment brought to you by two teams I did not expect to be that much better than my beloved Irish. But here we are. James, anything we didn't get to on the run of show? We might have also tangented a little early from the Around the AFC South segment. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on there that we didn't let you get to. But, you got anything else for the folks?
Garrett Wilson just scored on a pass from Aaron Rodgers. It is 21-3. That game is pretty much over now.
I think that game was over before it started.
I agree with that.
That you just gave me such great news. That's the one guy tonight that I had going was Garrett Wilson.
He hasn't done much, but he did just catch a touchdown.
At least that saved his day. John said them Leathernecks had a hard time fielding a full team this year. What with the Dust Bowl and all, most of them had to help keep up the family farm. There we go.
Yes. In a weird sense, that's kind of true because they were in the Missouri Valley Football Conference for the longest time. Basically the top FCS conference, always got the shit kicked out of them. And they just moved to the Ohio Valley Conference this year, which is basically like moving from the Big Ten to like Conference USA.
Ooh, gotta love that. Also, I didn't realize that our Johnny Football was John Steinbeck. That's pretty cool. Didn't realize that was neat. Every day's a school day. Anywho, gang, I don't have anything left on our run of show. So, Nate, what about you? Any other topics you've got? Anything you wanted to touch on before we head home?
Yeah, two things. One, Notre Dame needs to stop bargain binning shopping for mediocre ACC quarterbacks if they ever want to be successful.
Yes, preach.
And two, to relate back to the Seattle Supersonics, the Houston Comets of the WNBA may be coming back, depending on who gets the 16th team for expansion rights.
Oh, that's a team with some history in the league. Was it Cheryl Swoops who played? They had some like Hall of Famers go through that organization.
Yeah, Cheryl Swoops was there. She's seen better days, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, I mean the Rockets owner, for better or for worse, has started looking into it. So they do need a 16th team. They can capitalize on all of this, goodwill for the year. So we'll see.
It is interesting. I'm big fan of pro sports leagues, so I love seeing the WNBA getting a chance to expand. Be interesting to keep an eye on that. So go Fever. That's all I got. I don't care. They can add as many teams as they want because Caitlin Clark is taking them all. A decade worth of championships. All right, we're gonna get at least 2.
You want to know kind of how crazy it is with Caitlin Clark now. You even got like liquor stores. So there's a liquor store kind of close to where one of the places I used to live. They picked a private barrel, like a store pick, for lack of a better term. And they're calling it the Sobro number 22 Clark Special.
Yeah, dude, that's right, man. She's going to be the star of Indianapolis. Look out. Move over Peyton Manning. We finally have a new top dog.
Move over Reggie Miller.
Yeah. It's been Reggie, then Peyton, and then nothing. Because poor Andrew Luck got his spleen removed on the field or something. I don't know. It was pretty rough time he had. But all right, gang, I think that will probably about wrap us up for the evening. Thank you again to everybody in the chat. We'll give you some shout outs here at the very end. But first and foremost, we'll start with you, James. Where can the good folks at home find you?
You can catch me on our sister station every Monday at 6 p.m. on the Weekly Dweeb, talking our favorite nerd stuff of the week. And then you can also catch us every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. talking Star Wars. We just reviewed Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy last night at 9 p.m. So check all our stuff out there. And then you can catch me on Twitter at my handle right there, Schmeitz06.
That is right. Yeah, please give us a sub over there as well. Looking to get caught up, trying to get both channels up to 1,000. Got some new videos coming out over there too as well. Nate, what about you, good sir? Where can the folks at home find you?
Well, you can, find me in multiple places on Twitter and Instagram, and streaking on the field in Indianapolis on Sunday, and maybe with a bottle of Malort in my hand. So.
Oh God. I'm going to end up doing 4 shoeies without even being with there being no bets involved. You're just going to find me on the streets of Indy holding half a bottle of Malort. Make sure you guys follow Nate over there on Twitter, Bite Size Nate. Shouts out to your GOAT, Sports and Money KC, Johnny, Bite Size Vikes, and Kenneth Jordan. Thank you guys for hopping into the chat. We appreciate you all. Any of our lurkers out there, we love you as well. So please, once again, if you could, subscribe, give us a like, share if you would. We appreciate you for giving us your time on this wonderful Thursday night, and we will see you again next week. Bye-bye now.